2024 Nostradamus Predictions Chapter 1. The Enigma of Nostradamus and the Allure of 2024. The Seer of Salon. Michel de Nostradamus, a 16th-century French apothecary and seer, is more famously known by his Latinized name, Nostradamus. Born in 1503 in Saint-Rémy de Provence, he rose to prominence through his cryptic collection of predictions, Les Prophéties, first published in 1555. These quatrains, written in a mix of French, Latin, and Provençal, have intrigued scholars, historians, and the public for centuries. Nostradamus's methods remain shrouded in mystery, with claims of astrological calculations, biblical references, and even divine inspiration. His writings are notoriously vague and open to multiple interpretations, often requiring significant effort to decipher. Despite this, the enduring fascination with his predictions lies in their perceived accuracy and the allure of peering into the future. The Nostradamus phenomenon. Interest in Nostradamus's work has waxed and waned over the centuries, often spiking during times of crisis or uncertainty. In the 21st century, the rise of digital media and globalization has led to a resurgence of interest in his prophecies, with countless books, websites, and documentaries dedicated to deciphering their hidden meanings. The year 2024 has emerged as a focal point for many Nostradamus enthusiasts. Several quatrains have been interpreted as foreshadowing significant events in this year, ranging from political upheavals and economic crises to natural disasters and technological breakthroughs. While some dismiss these interpretations as mere coincidence or wishful thinking, others see them as evidence of Nostradamus's uncanny foresight. Deciphering the quatrains. Interpreting Nostradamus's quatrains is a complex and often controversial endeavor. The language is archaic, the symbolism is dense, and the references are often obscure. There is no single, definitive interpretation of any given quatrain, and different scholars and enthusiasts may arrive at wildly different conclusions. Some argue that Nostradamus's predictions are best understood as general warnings about potential dangers and challenges, rather than specific forecasts of events. Others believe that they contain hidden clues about specific people, places, and events, but that these clues can only be deciphered with careful analysis and historical context. The skeptical viewpoint. Skeptics of Nostradamus's predictions argue that their apparent accuracy is often due to confirmation bias and retrospective interpretation. That is, people tend to focus on the quatrains that seem to fit with current events, while ignoring those that don't. Additionally, the vague language of the quatrains allows for a wide range of interpretations, making it easier to find connections where none may exist. Some critics also point out that many of Nostradamus's predictions are simply rehashing of historical events or common tropes from mythology and folklore. They argue that his work is best understood as a product of its time, reflecting the anxieties and concerns of the 16th century, rather than a genuine glimpse into the future. 2024. A Year of Destiny? As we approach the year 2024, the debate over Nostradamus's predictions will undoubtedly intensify. Whether one sees him as a genuine prophet or a clever charlatan, there is no denying the enduring power of his work to capture the imagination and spark debate. In the chapters that follow, we will delve deeper into the specific quatrains that have been interpreted as relating to 2024, exploring the different interpretations, the evidence for and against, and the potential implications for our world. Chapter 2. Decoding Nostradamus. Methods and interpretations. The language of prophecy. Nostradamus's Les Prophéties is structured into centuries, each containing 100 quatrains, with a few exceptions. These quatrains, four-line verses written in a dense and cryptic style, are the primary source of his predictions. The language is a mix of French, Latin, Provençal, and other dialects, often incorporating anagrams, wordplay, and obscure references. This deliberate obfuscation was likely intended to protect Nostradamus from accusations of heresy or sorcery, while also adding to the mystique of his work. Symbolism and allegory are central to Nostradamus's prophetic language. He draws heavily on classical mythology, biblical imagery, and astrological symbolism, often blending these elements in unexpected ways. For example, the figure of Hister has been variously interpreted as a reference to Hitler, a river, or a geographical region. This ambiguity allows for multiple interpretations, adding to the challenge and fascination of decoding his work. The art of interpretation. Interpreting Nostradamus's quatrains is akin to solving a complex puzzle, requiring a combination of linguistic skills, historical knowledge, and cultural understanding. There is no single, definitive method for interpreting his work, and different scholars and enthusiasts employ various approaches. Some rely heavily on linguistic analysis, attempting to decipher the hidden meanings of words and phrases through etymology, anagrams, and wordplay. Others focus on historical context, comparing the quatrains to contemporary events and figures to identify potential parallels. Still, others use astrological calculations, attempting to correlate the quatrains with planetary movements and celestial events. One of the most common challenges in interpreting Nostradamus's work is the problem of confirmation bias. This refers to the tendency to search for or interpret information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses. In the case of Nostradamus, this can lead interpreters to focus on the quatrains that seem to fit with current events, while ignoring or downplaying those that don't. Another challenge is the problem of retrospective interpretation. This refers to the tendency to interpret past events or texts in light of present knowledge and concerns. In the case of Nostradamus, this can lead interpreters to find connections between his quatrains and contemporary events that may not have been intended by the author. The role of the interpreter. The interpretation of Nostradamus's work is not a purely objective exercise. It involves a degree of subjectivity and creativity, as interpreters bring their own biases, perspectives, and assumptions to the task. This is not necessarily a bad thing, as different interpretations can offer valuable insights and perspectives. However, it is important to be aware of the potential pitfalls and to approach the task with humility and an open mind. Nostradamus himself acknowledged the challenges of interpretation, stating in his preface to Les Prophecies, "The sense of the verses is difficult to understand, being very obscure." He also cautioned against taking his predictions too literally, stating that they were veiled in enigma. Despite the challenges, the attempt to decipher Nostradamus's work can be a rewarding and enriching experience. It can deepen our understanding of history, culture, and the human condition. It can also challenge us to think critically and creatively, and to consider different perspectives and interpretations. Chapter 3. Nostradamus and the year 2024. Setting the stage. The allure of millennial milestones. Throughout history, the turn of a century or millennium has often been accompanied by heightened anticipation, anxiety, and speculation about the future. The year 2000 was no exception, with widespread fears of the Y2K bug and apocalyptic prophecies. While those fears proved unfounded, the fascination with predicting the future persists. Nostradamus's cryptic verses, with their ambiguous references to dates and events, have become a natural focal point for those seeking to discern patterns and portents in the unfolding of time. The world in 2024. A turbulent landscape. As of the writing of this book in mid-2024, the world is grappling with a complex array of challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to cast a long shadow, with ongoing concerns about new variants and the uneven distribution of vaccines. Economic inequalities have been exacerbated, with rising inflation and supply chain disruptions impacting many countries. Geopolitical tensions simmer in various regions, with conflicts and proxy wars threatening stability. Climate change looms large, with increasingly frequent and severe natural disasters serving as stark reminders of the urgent need for action. In the midst of these challenges, technological advancements continue at a rapid pace, with artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and space exploration pushing the boundaries of human capability. These developments offer both promise and peril, raising questions about the ethical implications of emerging technologies and their impact on society. Nostradamus and the 2024 nexus. Against this backdrop, the year 2024 has taken on a particular significance for Nostradamus enthusiasts. Several quatrains have been interpreted as foreshadowing major events in this year, ranging from political upheavals and economic crises to natural disasters and technological breakthroughs. The interpretations vary widely, depending on the specific quatrain and the approach of the interpreter. Some see 2024 as a potential turning point, a year of great upheaval and transformation. Others interpret Nostradamus's verses as warnings of impending dangers and challenges, urging us to take action to avert disaster. Still, others view his predictions with skepticism, cautioning against reading too much into his cryptic words. Key quatrains and interpretations. Several quatrains have been identified as potentially relevant to the year 2024. These include Century I, Quatrain 48. This quatrain speaks of a great plague and fire from the center of the earth, leading some to speculate about a new pandemic or volcanic eruption. Century 3, Quatrain 64. This quatrain mentions a great earthquake and a change of rain, fueling speculation about political instability and natural disasters. Century V, Quatrain 77. This quatrain warns of a great war and bloodshed, leading some to fear an escalation of existing conflicts. Century X, Quatrain 72. This quatrain speaks of a new king and a great change, sparking debate about the rise of a new world leader or a shift in the global balance of power. These are just a few examples of the quatrains that have been cited as potential harbingers of events in 2024. In the chapters that follow, we will delve deeper into these and other quatrains, exploring the different interpretations, the evidence for and against, and the potential implications for our world. The challenge of interpretation. As we embark on this journey of exploration, it is important to remember the challenges inherent in interpreting Nostradamus's work. His verses are often vague and open to multiple interpretations. The passage of time and the accumulation of historical knowledge can shed new light on his words, but also introduce new biases and preconceptions. The question of whether Nostradamus's predictions are accurate is ultimately unanswerable. There is no scientific method for verifying prophetic claims, and the interpretation of his work is inherently subjective. However, the attempt to decipher his verses can be a valuable exercise in critical thinking, historical analysis, and cultural understanding. It can also serve as a reminder of the enduring human fascination with the future, and the power of prophecy to spark debate and inspire imagination. Chapter 4. Political Upheavals, A New World Order? In the annals of history, Nostradamus is perhaps most renowned for his prophecies of political intrigue, wars, and the rise and fall of empires. His cryptic verses have been interpreted as foretelling the French Revolution, the rise of Napoleon, and even the two world wars. As we delve into his writings for insights into 2024, it is natural to examine the potential for political upheavals and shifts in the global power balance. Century I, Quatrain 50, is often cited as a harbinger of major political change. Le roi Gaulois par martial tumulti, subjugera de Espagnols grande multitude, par decolatera and della la flue, vins and sel prins, pille par gent vestu. The Gallic king through martial tumult will subdue a great multitude of Spaniards, on this side of the land and beyond the river, wine and salt taken, pillaged by clothed people. Interpretations of this quatrain vary widely. Some believe it foretells a conflict between France, the Gallic king, and Spain, potentially involving disputes over resources, wine and salt. Others interpret it more broadly, as a prediction of social unrest or a clash between opposing ideologies. Another quatrain of interest is Century 8, Quatrain 75. Pau, ne, Lauren plus fou casclaire ne petra, auquel change nce lu la viendra. Ms de neuf ou tre plus loing any viendra estra, qui par faire a sun halt pre viendra. Pau, ne, Lauren more fire than lightning and stone, oh, what a change will come to that place. He who will not come further will be newly established, who will come to his high price by iron. This quatrain is often interpreted as a prediction of conflict or disaster in the region of Pau, Ne, and Lorraine in southwestern France. Some speculate that this could refer to a natural disaster, such as an earthquake or fire. Others see it as a warning of social unrest or political instability. These are just two examples of the many quatrains that have been interpreted as foreshadowing political upheavals in 2024. As with all of Nostradamus's prophecies, the meaning of these verses is open to debate. Skeptics argue that their apparent relevance to current events is simply a matter of confirmation bias and retrospective interpretation. However, there are some intriguing parallels between Nostradamus's predictions and current events. For example, the rising tensions between major powers, the resurgence of nationalist movements, and the threat of climate change-induced conflict could all be seen as potential fulfillments of his prophecies. The rise and fall of leaders. Nostradamus's quatrains also contain references to the rise and fall of influential leaders. Some interpreters believe that the quatrain Century I, Quatrain 25, predicts the downfall of a prominent figure. Lost, found, hidden for so long a time, the pastor will be honored as a demigod. Before the moon completes its full cycle, by other winds he will be dishonored. This quatrain is open to various interpretations, but some see it as a reference to a political leader who will experience a rapid rise and fall from power. It is important to note that Nostradamus does not name specific individuals in his quatrains, so identifying the pastor in this verse is a matter of speculation. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, Nostradamus's prophecies continue to captivate and perplex. Whether his words are seen as genuine warnings or mere historical curiosities, they offer a unique lens through which to view the challenges and possibilities of our time.